Good afternoon. Welcome to the Norfolk County Commissioners Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 meeting in Dedham. Our chairman, Joe Shea, is out of town on county business, and I'll be the acting chairman for today. Pursuant to the executive order on remote participation on March 28, 2025, Governor Healy signed into law House Bill 62, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Sections 18 through 25. That action was effective immediately, extending the current option for remote meetings through June 30th, 2027. Votes may be taken on any of the content listed in our packet. Call to order. Roll call. Commissioner Stady, are you present?
I am present, sir.
Right. I am also present, so we have a quorum. And at this time, we'll rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item that was we already did items 1 and 2. Item 3, executive session. I don't believe there is an executive session today.
Likely next week.
Okay. Next item is 4 minutes of the open session meeting for January 28th, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
I move approval.
All right. I
As
second.
presented.
Yeah, I second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, unanimous. Okay, next. Sam, you're up. Okay.
So quickly. Commissioners, what a pleasure as always. I apologize for my masked state.
So,
Just to keep you healthy.
so for those who don't know Sam, Sam Evans is our Norfolk County Chief Information Officer. He runs the IT department.
Yes, I do. So I think you got a copy of the presentation in your packet. Nobody make you a copy?
No, I'm all set.
Commissioner Collins?
Right
Okay.
here, sir?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So what I'm presenting to you today is an update on the major projects that the IT department is working on. It is the first page here is a modification of the project update sheet that I usually present to Director Cronin when we meet. It's something I usually give to him quarterly, sometimes give it to him monthly. So we're going to go into details on all of these. So I just wanted to show this to you really so you can see what he sees on a regular basis to keep him in the loop on everything that we're showing. So you can see the 3 statuses: completed, planning, on track. If something is off track, meaning that we need attention, that's also called out. So instead of going through all these, we're just going to flip to the next one. So our major projects begin with the work that we've been doing over at the golf course, the Wallaston Recreational Facility. These are highlights, so please jump in at any point if you have any questions about what's going on. Each of these will start with a target date at the top. These are calendar year, not our fiscal year. So when it says first quarter 2026, that would be, we want to get this done by the end of March of 2026. Our status is green, which means that everything is on track. We are moving Carl and Amy over to the county email system. Prior to now, they've been using email that they get via Comcast that's tied to their email. That's presidentsgc.com. See, the fabulous Mr. Buckley has put the slides up on the screen so everybody can see them. We're on the next one, Bill. All right, there we go. And we're also moving their website off of presidentsgc.com to presidentsgc.org. And this happened because the old website was set up and handled by parties unknown. We don't know if it was set up by Dana, although Dana says it wasn't. We talked to Carl. I said, Carl, you've been here for 200 years. Do you know who set it up? He said, I don't know, maybe it was these guys, maybe it was those guys. We tried to get in touch with those folks. For purposes of security, which makes total sense, the people who do handle all of these things called the domain, which is presidentsgc.com, they will not let you switch control unless you can prove who you are and that you know the people who are on the record of that domain. We could not do this, and Dana wasn't able to help us with this for whatever reasons. So we're switching off of presidentsgc.com, and at the request of Sue and Amy and Carl are moving it to presidentsgc.org, which makes sense since we're norfolkcounty.org, and we're in the process of doing that, but now. But the upshot is also that Carl and Amy, Sue already had norfolkcounty.org email, is that everybody will be on county email. We'll be able to protect them better, and it removes Comcast, which is a good company, but it's not us. It allows us to control everything. So it's a nice, secure solution. And what we're doing is we're going to have, we don't know when presidentsgc.com is going to go away, but for as long as we can, we'll point presidentsgc.com. We'll have something that says, hey, our new website is presidentsgc.org. Go check it out. So that'll be happening very soon, hopefully. If not this week, then next week. But it's an ongoing thing that we've been working on all over the place to get them more secure, to add more security over there and to allow us to take over more technical stuff. Mark has been doing a lot of work over there. He's the point person, as he's been for many, many years, to help them with their technology. You look as though you have a question, Commissioner.
No, the current system we have is the .org, right? Like our
Here,
emails are,
we're in
for
Norfolk County.
emailing Commissioner Stady or Collins would be
Yeah.
.org. So that's just going to be consistent with what we're doing anyways, right?
Yeah.
It's not something different.
Right. Well, they just had their email was all tied into their website, which was presidentsgc.com.
Okay.
So now we're moving them to what Sue has, because when Sue started, we put her on norfolkcounty.org.
Mhm.
Now Amy and Carl will also have norfolkcounty.org.
Okay.
So it's a consistency and more secure.
All right. Good. Thank you.
Of course. We'll go to the next slide. Okay, here's some pictures for you. As you know, we moved the disaster recovery room from the first floor here over to a room at the Aggie. We will be having a meeting in a couple of weeks, Wednesday, February 18th, which is during the Aggie school vacation, so there won't be any interference with the students. The rooms are ready to go. The registry room, which is the one to the left there. We did a connectivity test a couple months ago. There is one small test that remains to be done, which is a transaction test. We just need to coordinate that with registry senior management. And the room to your right, which doesn't look like that anymore, but pretty close, is where you'll be having your meeting. There's a few minor follow-up items to be there, but that is ready to go for the meeting. We just have to set up something underneath that little TV there for the laptop and do a couple more tests, but things are ready to go there.
Mr. Chairman, that's a quick question.
Sure.
I missed something. What did you say you have to do with the registry again?
So what happens for the registry?
Yep.
In the case of a disaster recovery is that they connect to backup data that's housed at the Brown Tech location
Okay.
on
Yeah.
their servers.
In the server. Yeah.
So we have tested the connection to that Brown Tech servers.
Mhm.
So the connectivity is there. What we have to do is a transaction test where we talk to Brown Tech and they switch over their systems, and then a transaction is conducted from that room on the left to
Okay.
make sure that everything is working.
Okay.
So the connectivity is one of the big things, and then we just test the transaction.
Is the registrar aware of this?
You believe so? Because I've been
Okay.
talking to Marguerite about it.
All right. We should do that in writing for us. So we have, just make sure that that's communication is really established and we have proof that we are communicating in terms of that
Well,
test.
Marguerite and I have been
Going back and
have
forth.
emails about when we're going to do
Okay.
that test.
That's fine. That's
Yep.
sufficient. All right. Thank you.
So again, the remaining things that need to be done there are all small. All the signs have been done. Patrick in engineering did a tremendous amount of work to make sure that the handicap accessibility was all set, and the Walpole building inspector was satisfied with everything. There was a dedicated handicap space outside and everything else. So a few more things to take care of, but it's all set for your meeting. Should be all set otherwise. Next slide. We've been working for a while on Tyler, which is I think you've known it for many names, Budget Sense, Infinite Visions, Tyler. It's now officially called School ERP Pro, whatever. It is the software that handles here the HR, the payroll, the purchasing, all kinds of stuff. And it handles the budget, which I'm sure will be taking up all your time for many weeks now. It has this thing that's a front end that allows employees to see things like paychecks and to request time off. So we've been working on getting this in place for a while. It has now been in pilot stage for 5 weeks with Bill Buckley's Regional Services Group and with IT. Again, the primary thing that we're testing is if people want to take a day off, instead of filling out a paper form and giving it to their bosses, they can do it through this thing. We had to do a bunch of work with Tyler to make sure that all the things worked, and we updated the user manual that they supplied so it was actually readable. And you can go out there and get your tax documentation and look at what HR has on file for you and all sorts of other things. We're going to roll this out to the rest of, the people in this building in the next couple of weeks, and then to engineering and maintenance across the street. And this is only for non-union folks, because to roll it out to union folks is a little more complex. So that's been going well. Took us a long while to get there, but it's been going well. You can see a little picture of it there. And then on the next page, which is called Tyler Daily Time Entry, this is another product from Tyler. This is electronic timesheets. And this only works when you have the employee access portal. So we had to get the employee access portal in place before we could do this. Right now, when you do your time, again, this is non-union. When a non-union person does their time, their supervisor says, yeah, I know my employee worked there 37 and a half hours or whatever it is this week. It goes on a timesheet that the manager submits to HR with a signature. This will, instead of being on a piece of paper, this can be done via the employee access portal and allows the employees to submit their time to their supervisor, who then pushes it through. So it's another modernization of workflow that allows us to put the stuff into Tyler directly. We're working with Tyler experts right now to figure out how it's going to work in the employee access portal, but it gets us more in line with workflows that have been in place in most companies, including the state, for 15 plus years. We're working up a rollout plan, but it will probably follow the same pilot and rollout plans that we did with the Tyler Employee Access Portal. The only reason it's yellow status here is that I just started talking to the Tyler project manager last week, and I'm waiting to hear back from him on where the documentation for this is. I think he responded to me this morning. I just didn't look at it yet.
What's the target date? So it's 2026.
That's 2Q, second quarter, 2026.
Okay, thank you.
So we will have this in place, ready to go before the end of our fiscal year.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
The next one. So part of my goal one of my goals for the year is to help other department heads get some more technology in their lives, much to their chagrin. So some of the bullet points here is I'm working with Mr. Buckley to get, as you two know better than most, the county does a lot of stuff for all the towns in the county. And some of that is numerically provable. So Mr. Buckley has a lot of this stuff, a lot of this data. And we want to make this more accessible to the counties. We've been talking about, to the towns. We want to make this easily accessible for them. We've been working on this for a while. So we've been talking to the company that helps us with the county website, which is called Revise, about ways we can do this. So 3 weeks ago, I think, or more, we started talking to them. What's the easiest way to do it? And we believe that we know how to do it now. We're going to start speaking with them about specifics and how to roll it out. So you'll see that. I've been working with Phil prior to budget, because now, unfortunately, 200% of Phil's time goes to only budget stuff, but there's some things that we can do to help improve Phil's workflow. And then there's some stuff I can do to help Patrick and Carl with tracking all the millions of contracts that they have, just to make it more easily accessible for them. So little things like that, but everything's going fine with that as well. The next slide is something that you may not have heard about. The federal government decided some time ago that all websites have to conform with the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's called the Title II ruling, and they have to have this in place by April 24th. There's a whole new set of rules that anybody who comes to your website with disabilities has to be able to read a certain sets of content easily. So if you have visual disabilities and you use something called a website reader, you have to be able to move around a website easily. So our website, the county website, and the registrar's two websites are in pretty good shape. there's not we don't have applications. You're not doing a tremendous amount of transactions via either our websites. In fact, nothing on our website, and the register's front end websites, Norfolk Deeds, don't really have a lot of that stuff. It's primarily about documents. And what we did was we talked to Revise, who helps us with our website, and Get Fused, who helps the register with his front end website, and said, how are people going about this? So we were engaging with Revise for the county website. They're going to scan the websites and check things out and then tell us what kind of stuff we need to do in order to get accessible by April 24th. The register's big website where people go in and start whipping around and checking documents and all that stuff. The Get Fused had some suggestions on how to approach it. Marguerite and I had a discussion with the head of Get Fused, and that information was passed to the register, who then had a discussion with the head of Get Fused, and they'll figure out what to do from there. I don't know the specifics of that discussion, but the information was passed along.
Is Revise a public or a private entity?
I believe it's a private company.
Is there any, obviously there's a fee going to be associated with this?
Yes. Yep.
Just give me a second. So that's going to be something we have to budget in, correct?
Yes.
And is there any opportunity, since the federal government's mandating it, for any kind of federal relief via direct payment or even a grant or other things like that out there?
Not in this world, Commissioner. They're not offering anything like that.
Not in the IT world.
So they mandate it, but there's no funding for it.
Yes, this happens quite frequently.
Just asking.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea.
I wanted to ask the question.
Not
My mind's
not
always
current-
thinking, all
I
right.
like it. But luckily for us,
But it's a private entity.
yeah, it's not.
They're gonna-
Revise helped set up the current website. Bill Buckley deals with them on a regular basis. They're also the ones helping us set up that interface so that towns can see what the county's done for them. So
okay.
it's not I don't want to say it's not a lot of work, because it will be some work. But again, we don't have an overly complex website. What a lot of stuff on our website is some documents, and they'll point out to us, well, you should think about this. And once they show us the stuff that we need to fix, then it's really maintenance moving forward so that you don't fall out of compliance.
Right.
And to make this clear, it's not like on April 24th, thank you, I will be having that. I'm not like on April 24th, the government's combing through websites to fine everybody. It won't be like that. It'll be more like if someone comes to the website on May 16th of 2026 and says, oh, I can't read this stuff, and they could file a complaint against us.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I know, no one has complained so far. There are plenty of people who use the register's websites and has never complained because they're in very good shape. And they are.
Do you know what the penalty is?
No, I don't offhand. That's good. But there's plenty of information out there about how to address and what the most common complaints are.
All right.
But if we were a website like, you want to go out and order a chicken sandwich, if you can't do those transactions as someone with disabilities on the website, that's the kind of stuff that has to get addressed. And people need to be able to use the services on your website.
Okay.
So it's not as though April 24th comes around and we're expecting a $10,000 fine from the feds, but we're going to be working towards eliminating any possibilities.
All right, cool.
With the help of experts.
Sounds good.
Right, next one is an IBM upgrade proposal. So before I was here, when Jim Limby was running the IT department, the IBM server, which is the backbone of the registry operations, was upgraded. It's about time for us to do it again. So we did some research. I and Dan helping me, working with a couple of very trusted companies, some places that we've worked with before, did some research on what we think it will cost and why we should be doing it. I sent the information to the register with a side piece on recommending upgrading the PCs that sit out in the public areas. So a couple of years ago, we made a recommendation to upgrade those PCs, but which the register accepted, but we didn't do it at that time, thinking that if we could hold out longer, the PCs that we bought would be in better shape. But so we put that PC recommendation on top of the IBM recommendation. The other bullets that are here, the IBM hardware that we're recommending to upgrade to, the operating system that the IBM runs on will also be upgraded, but we're not actually going to upgrade the operating system on the current hardware that we have, and that will ease the transition to the new hardware. The problem, however, is that we got to figure out where the money for this upgrade comes from. It would be about $190,000, $200,000. So that's the situation. That's why we're in a yellow circle there. The next slide is a nice one. We did our 2025 cybersecurity training for the county employees. This is fully sponsored by the state. They pay for access to this program called Know Before. It's a very famous cybersecurity training platform. This is the third year I think we've done it. And maybe we did one the year before, but it gets better every year. The state does a much nicer job giving us, access to the platform and all kinds of lessons therein. We're getting better at it every year. This year, as you can see in some of these bullet points, we had a 97% completion rate for all of our employees. And our risk score is very low according to the platform, and trended down every time over the final 6 months that they were there. We were accepted into the 2026 program, which we don't have too much information on yet. But what we did this past year prior to different from previous years is, I think not 2025, but in 2024, we followed the state's recommendations, which were, give everybody these 3 lessons. And I think each lesson was 20, 25 minutes. And last year they said, you can do whatever you want. So we gave everybody 6 lessons, spread them all out through the year, but each lesson was only 10, 12 minutes. And we were able to really chunk them up into different lesson plans and give people the chance to do things. And there were little larger tests, but not like tests you had to pass, but just to check how much you were learning all through the year. And again, it went very well. So we'll probably follow that same model unless the state has different recommendations this year. If you folks would like to do it as well, we can sign you up. It's not hard, and we got extra. I asked for extra licenses. I don't know if we've been awarded them yet. And this Know Before platform, the registry side has access themselves to it because they were using Know Before to do a once-a-year training on cybersecurity. So they're very busy, and they don't each have a computer with internet access over there. So this sort of model that we use for county employees wasn't applicable to them, just because they can't sit around that often to take the things. But I did ask for extra licenses just in case the registrar or Marguerite would like to have the senior registry management do these things. But since I'm hopefully going to get senior extra licenses, if you would like to experience any of this, you can let me know. We'll see how that goes. But great program. We're going to do it again.
Good.
And then I think we're getting to the end. Yep. All right. The next slide is our new guy, Scott Machado, has been getting up to speed faster than anticipated. He's tremendous. So this is allowing Dan to move back towards looking at many of the cybersecurity measures that we've been putting in place. We've been for many years taking advantage of the federal government's CISA scanning. This is the Center for Internet Security. We have them look at our networks and some other things once a month, but 2 different reports, but we haven't been able to spend too much time on them. So given how fast Scott's been coming up and taking some stuff off Dan's plate, Dan's been able to start looking back at these things, and this looks at intrusion scanning a little bit, but it's looking at all of our different networks, how they look from the outside. So Dan's starting to look at that again with Scott, and that's great. And we try and talk to the Aggie folks whenever we can. As you know, Mark is retiring, so it's kind of tapered off a little bit until they figure out Mark's replacement. But we'll continue that with whomever they bring in. So if we see, I get 2 or 3 different alerts from CISA. Hey, there's a new vulnerability here. And I get them from all over the place. So anytime we see anything that may have some effect on the Aggie, we let them know. I got Mark Coet to sign up the Aggie this past year for that same cybersecurity training class that the state offers. I don't know how it went, but I know he signed up them for it. So we'll continue that hand-in-hand cybersecurity alert.
Would it help us as a county if I could. Mr. Chairman, would it help us as a county, perhaps before we hire a new person at the Aggie, that maybe you or someone reach out to Jeremy, our superintendent, and say, could you be on the screening committee or something like that? Would that be appropriate? What do you think?
So I think that
Yeah, just,
that Director Cronin did offer Jeremy the opportunity for us to chime
Right.
in as necessary.
Okay, great. Okay, I
So,
can follow up with
yeah.
Jeremy then. All right. So
So,
you'd be okay with that, right?
yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And Mark knows too. So we talked to Mark when we heard that he was retiring. We
Yeah.
said, hey,
Yeah.
if we can assist up that way, if, you know, and I think that when Dan was talking to Mark too, he said, he didn't want to seem overbearing, but if you don't have a bunch of stuff documented, you should do this so that whoever takes over for you
Right.
will see this stuff, and that kind of stuff is important.
When's he leaving? Do you know what his last day is?
March something?
In March of that time. All right.
Yeah. So,
Sometime in March. All right. Thank you.
well, of course.
Thank you for that.
And the last thing is we've got some infrastructure projects that we're looking at. The phone system here works great. We just had a talk with the company that put it in for us. It's old, but they tell us there's no problem. There's plenty of companies using it. So, it doesn't have the newest bells and whistles, but we don't need that, and it's healthy. And so we've got support handled for the next 3 years. Our alarm, we have one camera system across the street and a different camera system here. So ideally, it'd be nice to have a newer camera system that is the same in both places. There are considerations, though. The register, as you know, has a shooter detection system across the street, which integrates into that. So we can't just, buy anything off the street like a new Amazon camera system, because it has to have this integration. When we were talking about with the director's like, it would be nice also for us to not just think about these two buildings. We have courts all across the state and this part of the county, I should say, that we have to think about. So every little thing has some other things to
How about
think
the
about.
golf course?
Yeah, well, the golf course has one too, but
Okay.
absolutely, right. So
Yeah.
it would be better, instead of having 3, 4 different camera systems, to have an integrated one, which helps us economically, but also to keep up with the software. So we're looking at that kind of stuff. And so it's the costs, and then as we get into something bigger, we also have to bid it out. So I believe that's it. I know I ran a lot of information by you. Happy to take any questions for you.
Richard, any questions?
No, you answered them as we went along. I appreciate you.
Of course,
Your
good
candor.
questions.
Nice presentation as always. Great job. Just get better. Yeah, get better.
I had a
Thank
few, I had a few
Sure.
points. That's okay. So one of the pages that you talked about, upgrade to the IBM operating system, will happen on current platform via Brown Tech. I know that at one point we were looking that Brown Tech might be outdated. How's that coming along?
So Brown Tech is, I wouldn't say it's outdated. So Brown Tech is extremely finely tuned for what it does. It handles all the transactions. It's excellent at reporting. Ed Wheeler, I talked to him, I think my second year here, and I said, so how does it compare to what you're using in Middlesex? He's like, it really is much more, can't remember the exact word, accurate, whatever, something like that than what they were using. So it's an excellent system. One of the things Ripples was talking about, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, but it's not, that kind of stuff's not needed for what their registry does, especially at the volume that the registry does.
Okay.
So what we were doing instead was looking at if there's some stuff that we can do to make Brown Tech work a little better for the users. So we put a couple things in place, but it's good. The other things that Brown Tech needs is what happens if Cliff retires. But we had a long talk with Cliff about that, and he had great answers for that, and so we're not worried about that. The other thing we wanted to know is what is the state, what about this mythical thing the state had, that the state was going to find some great program that everyone was going to be able to use, and that never went anywhere. We haven't been able to get any information about them. So the alternatives that are out there might be great at one thing or this other thing, but it doesn't do all the things that Brown Tech does. So we weren't able to find anything, even just looking around a little bit, that would do what Brown Tech does.
Okay, that sounds great. So, well, it sounds like you have the right service in for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous system.
Okay, so Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, good. That's a good catch. I thought about that, and I wanted to go back to that. I remember the Abraham report.
Yeah.
cited that, I thought they had said that we should at least look at that and maybe phase it out. I'm not being contrary.
Yep, no,
I'm
yep.
just remembering that report. Somehow it came back to me. But so how are we doing in terms of even, again, following the consultant that we paid money for? How does this fit in and I'd like to ask you that maybe next time you're around. Because I know they said something about the Brown Tech. And I
So
think Commissioner O'Donnell,
Register,
Register
yeah.
O'Donnell was very adamant about it did serve the needs of what they wanted. So,
So Ripples, I can't remember all the Abraham stuff because I spent a long time with the Ripples. Especially Ripples was talking technology. Well, we need to look at the cloud stuff, and we need to look at a platform that's on a more modern front end. But the cloud thing is not necessarily appropriate for where we are. You can get more into costs and problems like that, but Brown Tech is on the IBM system, which is the primary system for documents, especially at the volume that the registry has to use here. It's the Brown Tech system is optimized for using the IBM, and if we needed to get to a cloud system, IBM can easily move up into the cloud. If we were in multiple locations, sure. There were some things that I would, we'd like to have that Ripples pointed out, like, hey, the advantage of going to a larger company is that you have more people who can answer your questions. If there's tech support, there's other companies feeding back in with needs for improvements and all that stuff, which we talked about resetting a Brown Tech user group. I've talked to other registries that are using Brown Tech. And so there's ways to get around that. But the Ripples emphasis was on cloud and technology things. And in the 3 years that I've been here, there haven't been any pointing to that.
Okay. Very good.
So, but we watch.
All right.
We watch to make sure. And some of the other alternative programs that Ripples have called out, we look at those to make sure that there's no major advancements in there. But Ripples did tremendous amounts of work talking to the state land court and all these different things. And they're still, from what I can see, and again, I'm no expert on what needs to be done in the system. The Brown Tech system, which has been really optimized for the way that the registry does its work, to have to bring something else in would be a major undertaking because parts of any new system would have to be really reworked to handle the way things are working now, the way they've made Brown Tech change for it. So,
All right. And they're working well.
yeah, I mean, it's unless there's some new thing that the state comes up with in the next 2 or 3 years, I need you to redo this massive thing, or we're changing the way the land court works or something like that. The way that the register and his assistants have made the thing work it's working. So, and the technology back, if it wasn't on IBM, I'd be worried, but the IBM system is fantastic.
So, so for those people that are on the call today, they might not know. So, we have one IT system for the whole county, and Sam runs the IT system. His office is located in the registry of deeds, and so I was kind of curious. So, you talked about the golf course, and I know that you're working. So the Aggie has their own IT people, but you help support that too. So overall, roughly what percentage of your work involves the registry? Is registry work? Any idea?
So the day-to-day support work that we do, I know Dan gets in at 8, and I think a lot of his first hour is done making sure that everything is running okay and answering any questions that happen at the beginning of the day if there's any problems or whatever. So the department's work, I'm just trying to think, like I just was doing my budget work, so it's a good question to ask at this time. I'm trying to, my initial thought is 50-50, but because we got to think about how to support all of the stuff that's in there. We're spending a lot of time thinking about the IBM recently. We do try and stay on top of all of the Brown Tech stuff. So, I'm trying to think if 50-50 is just a glib answer or not, but we do spend a tremendous amount of time trying to make sure that everything in the registry is working correctly.
And you talked about working with Marguerite at the registry on different IT concerns. So do you interact with the registry on a daily basis about what's going on over there and what you need and what they need?
With the registry?
No, with the registry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talk with Marguerite a lot, with Anna, with other supervisory folks. We don't, it's harder for me because Dan and increasingly Scott are the ones who are out working with folks a lot. But on the higher level things, I deal with Marguerite frequently.
Okay. And do you get much interaction and guidance from the registry as to what their goals are?
I mean, when I first started, we were meeting more frequently. That's kind of tapered off. So, I mean, and that could be because the registry just operates. We haven't sat around and talked about where to go recently, but when there are things that need to be addressed, I get included in the loop.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, now when there are new developments in IT that you have to alert the registry to, are they responsive to that?
I'm trying to think of an example. So if there's I'll give you this one. So Microsoft is making a big push with its AI stuff inside of Microsoft Office. So even here, there's not that many people here who need to use it. So Maureen sent out something in the latest HR email that said, hey, there's Microsoft Copilot. But several months ago, I was thinking who in the registry senior management might benefit from Microsoft Copilot. So I went to talk to Jonathan Thomas, who I know does a lot of marketing stuff because he's putting stuff out on the website. And I said, hey, I'm thinking that you might be the first guy who might be able to use some of this. Is that if that's interesting to you, let me know, and we can see if we can swing you a license to play with. And he thought about it for a while and got back to me later and said, no, I don't think we need it yet. So there hasn't been anything overarching yet. I think I mentioned it when we knew about this ADA website compliance. So I thought about who we should speak to, and I let Marguerite know that I thought we should speak to GetFused, who were the people who had built their websites. And so we got right on that.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for, so I'm not a big IT person, so thank you for that explanation.
Sure.
You dumbed it down for me. I appreciate it.
Not at all. All right. And anytime you guys need to know anything, just please let us know.
That's
Sorry it
all.
took so long.
Good job. Thank you.
Right.
Take care, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, so the next item is number 6, public comment. So every week at this time of the meeting, we ask the people who are on the call if they have any public comment. We ask those who wish to make a public comment to please limit their remarks to 3 minutes. And so now we invite people to make public comment if they wish to do so. Okay, hearing a big nothing. John, have you had any requests for public comment this past week? Okay. Last call for public comment. Okay, moving on to number 7, old business. John, any old business?
Not this week.
Okay. Next item is personnel matters for consideration. Commissioner Stady.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll move the following. This has to do with the Norfolk County Agricultural High School. First, I move approval of a notice of address change for Jane Engel as the 183-day instructor. The address change will be effective 1/28/26. So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, unanimous. Next.
All right, and an important one. Please to make a motion to appoint Jenna Lesko as a assistant superintendent for business, and with the rate of pay stated, effective 2/5/26. So moved.
Second that. All in favor say aye.
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 We
Opposed,
welcome
unanimous.
Jenna. Will be bringing her talents to our Aggie school.
Great. John.
Just a point of reference, as commissioners, you're also trustees, and I presume you make similar vote when you seat as trustees this coming week, I think?
No, next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week. Just your vote has to follow. That's all.
Right. Yeah,
Correct.
of course. Yeah. That's all I had.
Okay, great. Okay. Next is payroll and expense warrants for approval. Richard.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this is a warrant list for 2/4/26. Move the following as several. Number 1, I move approval of 26-31 payroll to county the sum $856.39. So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous.
Second, I move approval of 26-3116 payroll to school, the sum $400,774.76. So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, unanimous.
Third, I move approval of 020126 suspense of the county, $64,378.99. So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, unanimous.
Interesting. Four, I move approval 26-32 Opera Brookline, $270. Can't wait to hear about that. So moved. Take them out.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, unanimous.
And the last one, I move approval of 26-5, U.S. Bank, the Norfolk County Coast, the NCAHS loan, the sum $21,800. So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed,
That
unanimous.
concludes the warrant list, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. Next item, item 10 is report from the procurement department, bid openings and contract awards. What do we have today?
Well, I will begin speaking and Maureen can come in afterwards, but pleased to present our CPO. If you want to come on up, Maureen.
Okay.
Today we're asking the commissioners to approve a temporary staff position in the RSVP program. As you know, the RSVP program has been a bit of a limbo while we wait federal funding for the grant. I'll give you a brief update of that matter under county director's updates. But meanwhile, Maureen has helped put together a temporary staff appointment today. Lucille Cassis is with you, as well as the incumbent, Monique Ailman, who I think would like to come up and meet the commissioners and talk a little bit about what the role will entail over the next several months through June 30th. But this is a temporary position until the staffing vis-a-vis the new grant process is solidified. So if you want to just talk a little bit about the grant, the contract, and then we'll.
Sure. We posted and advertised for this position with the help of Lucille. We put together a posting and she had one applicant, and that is Monique. And she interviewed and seems happy. So we put together this contract contingent upon the funding being there and not to exceed $15,000.
You have one applicant, you get the perfect one.
That's bad.
Great.
You scared everybody away. Are we allowed to ask questions?
Sure, knock yourself out.
Can you, through the chair, of course, can you tell us a little bit about your background and before accepting this position here? I'm
Yes,
sure you qualify, but it's a little PR for us, you know?
yes. Nice to be here. Thank you, everybody. And I've been working since I was 20 years old, so that's many decades. And most recently held a national position running a national sales team for an organization that does workforce development and works primarily in healthcare. So if they are needing a CEO, CFO, high-level executive placements, and also listening to Sam, technology solutions for organizations, again, around workforce and making their organizations more efficient. Prior to that, I've held positions. I've owned my own restaurant. I worked as a vice president at Caritas Good Samaritan Medical Center, which became Steward Healthcare, and helped with the acquisition and the rollout of the new brand and the transition from a nonprofit entity to a for-profit entity. I could go back longer, but I've been in the workforce for many decades and delighted to have the opportunity to join Lucille and learn about the important work that the RIDES program in particular does to help veterans get to their doctor's appointments, and know that there's an opportunity with the renewal of the grant to help expand and grow, not just the volunteer base to help deliver the services, but also the people served. So I'm very excited to help out in the time that we have together and do what I can in those areas. And also eager to learn what other needs there might be, so I can
This is great.
help out when I'm here.
Okay, excellent. What's the length of the contract? Till the end of the
money
fiscal year?
is expended.
Until the money's
Yeah.
expended. Oh, okay, okay.
Money runs out.
Okay, so we can, all right. So Lucille, watch how you, yeah. All right.
Later than June.
What's that?
Not later than June.
No, that's all I was looking for. I'm not trying to get rid of you.
No,
I'm
no.
not. It's not a great addition, but I was wondering what the
I
thing
will
was.
be very efficient.
No, I'm sure you will.
Mhm.
All right.
Any questions?
Your qualifications are great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very well qualified.
Yeah, I'm excited to do something that really gives back and
Yeah.
has a different level of meaning and mission.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Welcome.
Thank you.
to our
Yeah.
county.
Okay.
I look forward to good
Thank
things.
you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if you want, I'd be happy to move the approval of the appointment of Monique Ullman as the Norfolk County RSVP position.
Volunteer.
Is it in it? Is it volunteer coordinator? Look up the thing there. All right. At the rate stated in the terms of the contract prepared by a CPO as outlined in this contract here today, the sum not to exceed $15,000.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay, next,
Thank you.
Brookline ARPA Award
Yeah,
Correction.
what's up with that? Wow. Brookline. All right.
Through you, Mr. Vice Chairman, the Clifton Larson auditors is a function of their oversight monitoring. Flag the award ARPA 1344 that was delivered to the town of Brookline in December of 2024. Effectively, it was a transposition error.
Oh,
The
okay.
amount awarded was $270 less than the amount that was requested and approved within the portal at that time. So as you want to examine the facts of it, let's see. The original award was what the exact number is going to be.
Well, it's only a small. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, no, I just wanted to go back to the award if you just permit me 1 second for the record. Here it is. The actual award should have been $220,968.11. But what was keyed in and put before you for approval on that date was $220,698.11. You can see the transposition. So I've sent an email off to the town manager in Brookline telling him to be alert on this. It was a reimbursement project cost for healthcare projects. So I'm sure he'll just deposit it into his account and expend it on his general ledger. And we'll clear this anomaly up for our reporting to Washington. So thank you for your vote today. I thought I'd give you a brief explanation on that.
sure.
How's Brookline doing for the rest of their money?
They were on, I believe the early list that I looked at from May of last year, still expending some of the money. I have not looked at the more recent report. When Clifton Larson was before you, about a month ago, they explained that there were only a handful of communities that were left on spending their money. So I'll have to double check, Peter, to see if Brookline was on it. I cannot recall, but they were on that list about 6 months ago. They also had one of the largest awards in the county. So I'll double check for you if you don't mind.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Report of the county director, item 12.
All right. Thank you. The county received some good news. Earlier, you approved the temporary employment contract for Monique. As we waited out the status of the continuing resolution and or funding of the program. As you probably know, over the last year or so, with the new administration, we were monitoring the scrutiny that the AmeriCorps program was getting. And there were signs that through DOGE and other government cutting efforts, it might be a casualty. Today's vote to support the temporary hire was a measure to keep the program going following Chris Goldsmith's retirement. We didn't want to invest in the backfill of Chris until we knew what was happening. Lucille has notified us that as a result of the recent continuing continuing resolution that President Trump signed yesterday, that the program appears to be funded now and will be open shortly for solicitation of grants along the lines of what we've experienced so far as a 3-year grant period. So signs are very encouraging that the government is now allowing us to apply, and we look forward to doing that. I believe the solicitation is open shortly, if not imminently. And we expect to submit our application without delay. So once that is approved, we'll convert this position into the full-time role and get back into the role that we had prior to the government questioning of the program. So that was that. This past week, Mr. Buckley and I had a meeting with Superintendent Jeremy Gay, as we have from time to time. It was a great meeting. We touched on a host of issues. We spent a fair amount of time talking about the budget and budget-related items for the schools. You may hear, I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'll tease you that he appears to have secured another grant for the schools, which is potentially very exciting, as it has to do with some facility work. We spoke about his hire of the new business manager, which you appointed today, and I know the trustees will appoint next week. Ms. Leskow was in this office yesterday doing her onboarding work. I had a chance to talk to her for about 15 minutes. I was very impressed, very energetic background. I informed her, here's your guideline for the FY27 budget process. I need a budget from you soon. Gave her a copy of the 26 budget. I have no hesitations based on our brief conversation, as well as Jeremy's explanation of her background as a business manager at a larger system up north, that she'll be able to accomplish the task. I introduced her to Phil and told her, we have resources. We'll be happy to work with you to achieve the deadline of getting the school's budget off the ground, according to the guideline plan, which I think has them March 4th, I think it seems to come to mind.
They're early? I thought they were later. Okay.
They're on the back end,
Yeah,
Richard,
I
but
thought they were.
nevertheless, we'll work
Yeah.
with them. I know what they're up against. So it was a pleasure meeting with her, and Jeremy seems to have found a very capable, skilled individual to carry on those duties. So thank you to him. Let's see. I just want to alert you that next week, it's kind of a down week, is before we get into the budget season with full fervor. All budgets were due yesterday. I believe we have all but one. So over the next several days, we'll be assembling a consolidated budget based on the submittal requests against the available revenue as stated in FY26. We'll prepare a quote unquote public facing budget, which is required for posting. It'll be immediately out of budget because it hasn't been balanced yet. And then you'll begin seeing departments, I believe, 2 weeks from today. So that meeting will be held at the Aggie Disaster Recovery Room, which Sam just showed you. That room is ready. It was operational back in July, but it is now ready for public meetings. And we're looking forward to hearing, I think, 3 budgets that day. And then we'll follow over the next 2 weeks after that to wrap up the submittals to you before I go to the task of balancing for you. So overall, we're in great shape. People seem to understand the exercise. The cover memos look good. I think when the department heads meet with you, you can hear some creative things. The departments clearly understand the nature of submitting balanced budgets while submitting cover letters that ask for things that might, find the commissioner's attention. So that'll all be forthcoming. Let's see, and I think that was all I have for you at this time. Thank you, sir.
Richard, any questions?
Yeah, if I could,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman. Number one, do you think it might be appropriate or a good idea in light of the RSVP appointment and some optimism to maybe notify, again, Congressman Lynch, our congressional delegation, and or even thank them perhaps indirectly if they did anything for it, or to keep them appraised, at least appraised of what's going on and that we do want them to continue their help? Would that be something appropriate?
Yeah, sounds like a great
Just
idea.
we're making movement. We might be nice to say, we're going to put someone on and this is a great thing and we can appreciate your input,
Yeah. And thank you for all you've done for us.
Yeah, something like that. Just a
Yep.
thought.
We can do that.
The other thing, thank you. The other thing, I just wanted to mention that we all attended the Norfolk, the State Association of Counties, serenaded our acting chair for his birthday, which I got to keep reminding about. But it was a wonderful day and a good time to meet other people. The first time ever, I believe, at least for me, that all the counties were represented. All the county. Dukes County was there. We had the vineyard. Everybody was there. It was amazing. Nantucket was there. I'm saying it was a very good meeting, very productive meeting, and those things you always pick up something that others are doing or have questions on. But by and large, the focus was on wrapping up opera, and then as I think it was Treasurer O'Brien had said, maybe where do we pivot now? How do we pivot and keep making the county perhaps, what's our next task going to be? And we're going to look at some opportunities, for further regionalization and assistance for cities and towns. So it was a good meeting. I just thought it was well done. A little kudos to Plymouth County for hosting it. We didn't set a date though or a time for any kind of future meeting. I know that's something.
There was some discussion about September.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, we're going to wait that long. That's usually think every 3 months,
That
but
was their preference.
okay, so that's fine. I like the idea. That's right. That's the location was a good suggestion. All right. And that was all I had.
And the managers of each of the counties, they meet monthly, right? 3 months.
More as needed. We do have some work to do. I was speaking electronically with the gentleman from Barnstable. So we'll be working on a side project together, but it's as needed.
Okay. All right. Any emergency items, topics that the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed? Hearing nothing. Okay. Richard, do you want to make a
Yes.
motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, just checking the time. I would move that we adjourn the meeting at 1:58.
Okay, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, unanimous. The meeting is over. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you very much.
Thank you.